2026 has been quietly unhinged for anime fans, so today we're breaking down the 6 best anime of the year so far. Pure chaos, wild storytelling, sleeper hits, hot takes, and at least one show that shocked everyone. Kicking things off with number 6, Roll Over and Die. If you thought fantasy anime in 2026 would keep playing it safe, Roll Over and Die showed up, kicked the table over and said, "Nah, we're doing trauma today." This series looks like your standard dark fantasy at first, like dungeon crawling, medieval vibes, but it immediately flips the script by making failure feel personal. The protagonist isn't just weak. The world actively wants her erased, and it never lets you forget that. What really hits is how cruelly honest the show is. No power fantasy padding, no sudden glow up after 3 episodes. When characters get hurt, it sticks. When allies betray you, it's not dramatic violin music, it's awkward silence and consequences. The villains aren't mustache-twirling monsters either. They're systems, guild politics, and people who smile while pushing you into hell. Those might be the scariest kind. The animation leans gritty instead of flashy, which honestly works in its favour. Blood isn't stylized, it's uncomfortable. Magic feels heavy, not pretty. And the pacing? Yeah, it's slow sometimes, but that tension is doing work. This isn't Goblin Slayer shock value or ReZero looping misery. It's quieter, meaner, and way more exhausting emotionally. Is it for everyone? Absolutely not. If you want easy wins, skip it. But if you like your fantasy with scars, consequences, and zero mercy, Roll Over and Die earns its spot, even if it emotionally dropkicks you on the way out. Sliding in at number 5, The Holy Grail of Eris. Now this is for the fans who love political anime mess. The Holy Grail of Eris is what happens when courtroom drama, noble society backstabbing, and supernatural revenge decide to share the same script and somehow don't ruin each other. The premise sounds tame. Wrongfully accused noblewoman meets the ghost of a villainess, but the execution is dangerously addictive. The ghost isn't here to be cute or supportive. She's petty, ruthless, and absolutely thrilled to manipulate everyone in the room. Watching these two leads bounce off each other is half the fun. One's morally upright to a fault, the other treats ethics like optional DLC. Together they turn high society tea parties into psychological warfare zones. What makes this stand out in 2026 is the writing. Every conversation feels like a chess match. Characters lie casually, smile professionally, and stab you with words instead of swords. And somehow, the show makes legal arguments and inheritance disputes feel more intense than most battle anime climaxes. That's talent. The animation is elegant rather than explosive, but it fits. Facial expressions carry entire scenes. When someone smirks, you know someone else's life just got ruined. It's not perfect. The pacing stumbles in the middle, but when it's good, it's terrifyingly good. If you like Descendants of a Bookworm politics or Apothecary Diaries intrigue, this is your next obsession. Trust me, it sneaks up on you. Landing on number 4, Sentenced to be a Hero. This anime asked one simple question: what if becoming a hero was actually the worst punishment imaginable? Sentenced to be a Hero takes the classic fantasy trope and drags it through bureaucracy, trauma, and brutal realism. Heroes here aren't chosen, they're convicted, and the system treats them like disposable tools, not legends. From episode 1, you can feel how broken this world is. The main character isn't motivated by justice or destiny, he's just trying to survive a sentence that feels like a slow execution. The battles are intense, but the real horror is the aftermath. Injuries that don't heal, public praise that feels hollow, and commanders who see heroes as numbers on a spreadsheet. What makes this series addictive is how it balances action with dread. Every mission feels like a bad decision, and you're constantly waiting for the system to betray its own champions. The villains aren't even that complex because the real antagonist is the structure itself. It's uncomfortable in a way that sticks with you. Visually, it's raw. Armor gets dented, spells look unstable, and nobody walks away clean. It kind of feels like if Attack on Titan and Grimgar had a cynical baby raised by accountants. Not flashy, but effective. It's not perfect, some side characters needed more time, but as a concept-driven anime in 2026, this one hits hard. And trust me, number 3, it'll mess with your head in the best way possible. Looking at number 3, Tamon's B-side. Okay, tonal whiplash time, but in a good way. Tamon's B-side pretends it's a cute idol-adjacent anime, then casually reveals it's actually a character study about identity, obsession, and the emotional labor of being adored by strangers. And yeah, that sounds heavy, but it's wrapped in humor so sharp it sneaks past your defenses. Tamon isn't the confident star you expect. Offstage, he's awkward, self-critical, and borderline exhausted by the persona fans project onto him. The show thrives in these contrast moments. Sparkly performances followed by brutally quiet backstage scenes where he's just trying to breathe. It's funny, uncomfortable, and painfully relatable if you've ever had to perform a version of yourself. The comedy lands because it's honest. Fans are supportive but terrifying. Managers mean well but still exploit. And Tamon's inner monologue? Absolute menace. The series roasts idol culture without being cruel, and that balance is hard to pull off. Animation-wise, it's deceptively polished. Performance scenes go hard, while slice-of-life moments stay grounded. The pacing is tight, and every episode adds another layer to Tamon's mental spiral. This isn't a show about idols, it's about being seen without being known. And if you stick with it, it quietly becomes one of the most emotionally resonant anime of the year. Moving up to number 2, Shiboyugi. Playing death games to put food on the table. Death game anime are risky in 2026. We've seen everything. So Shiboyugi doing something fresh was not on my bingo card. But here we are. This series isn't about thrill-seeking teens or edgy masterminds. It's about poverty, desperation, and people who literally cannot afford to lose. The characters aren't here for glory, they're here for groceries. Every game decision feels heavy because winning doesn't mean freedom. It means surviving another week. Losing doesn't mean dramatic monologues, it means real-world consequences that hit hard. That grounded motivation changes everything. The games themselves are clever without being overly complicated. Strategy matters, but so does empathy. Sometimes the smartest move is trusting someone, and sometimes that ruins you. The tension comes from moral choices, not just traps and timers. What really elevates Shiboyugi is its cast. Nobody feels like filler. Side characters have lives, families, and reasons that hurt. When someone dies or fails, it lingers. The show refuses to reset emotionally. Visually, it's clean and efficient. No unnecessary flash, just enough style to sell the stakes. Think Kaiji energy with modern pacing and less screaming. It's stressful, human, and surprisingly thoughtful. Easily one of the strongest concepts of the year, and that brings us to the top. Finally, number 1, Jack of all trades, party of none. This anime had no business being this good. Jack of all trades, party of none takes the most overused fantasy setup and flips it by asking, what happens when being versatile makes you unwanted? The protagonist can do everything, but not well enough to fit anyone's expectations, and that alone carries the show. Instead of forming a party, he drifts. Temporary alliances, short-term jobs, constant rejection. And through that, the series builds a quiet, compelling narrative about self-worth in a world obsessed with specialization. It's funny, but it cuts deep when it wants to. Combat is creative rather than flashy. Watching the MC combine half skills in messy, improvised ways is way more interesting than standard power-ups. He wins by adaptability, not dominance. And the world reacts realistically. Some admire him, others exploit him. The writing is the real MVP. Conversations feel natural. Characters come and go, leaving impact without overstaying. There's a sense of loneliness that never turns melodramatic, just real. Animation stays consistent, pacing stays tight, and the humor lands without undercutting emotional moments. By the end, you realize this isn't just the best anime of 2026 so far, it's one of the most relatable fantasy stories in years. And that's my top 6 anime of 2026 so far. Hits, risks, emotional damage, and a few shows that deserve way more love. Drop your picks in the comments, roast my list respectfully, hit like if this helped, subscribe for more anime chaos, and stay tuned. 2026 is just getting started.